can you still be bisexual in a monogamous relationship? Here's the answer. Yes. Full stop. End of video. This has been Rob from Two Bi Guys. Thanks for watching. I'm just kidding. I'll talk more because why not? But the answer to this one really is pretty simple. Yes. Absolutely. There is absolutely no reason you can't be bisexual in a monogamous relationship. In fact, most bi people are in one. Bi people are slightly more likely to be in non-monogamous relationships, about 10% more likely, but it's only a slight correlation. And personally, I think it's because when you're bi, you want to share that with your partner, and that openness and honesty leads to open and honest discussions about other things, like your relationship structure and monogamy. And once you're having those conversations, you're more likely to follow your genuine, authentic path. So it's actually interesting that bi people are only 10% more likely to be non-monogamous. Once everything's out in the open, people tend to move a little bit towards non-monogamy, but the majority end up monogamous. About 80 to 90% of straight people are monogamous, about 70 to 80% of bi people are monogamous. Here's how I break it down. Attraction does not equal actions or behaviors. Attraction and behavior are different. Both of those things can contribute to your identity. For example, our attractions can determine our sexuality. I call myself bisexual because I recognize in me the potential to be attracted to more than one gender. Actions can also determine our identity. Like, I identify as non-monogamous because I explore sex and relationships with more than one person at a time. So it's my actions and behavior that lead me to identify this way. But just because both of those things make up different aspects of my identity doesn't mean that they're linked together or correlated for most people. Bisexuality is about the potential for attractions to more than one gender. It doesn't mean you need to be with more than one person at one time. Just because I do doesn't mean everyone is like that. The vast majority of bi people are open to those attractions, but are monogamous by nature. They prefer to be with one person at a time. Many queer people of all types are monogamous. The two are not mutually exclusive. They are separate spectrums. There's some correlation, like the 10% I mentioned, but they are separate spectrums, and you can identify yourself on each of them wherever you are. Many straight people are extremely non-monogamous. Look at the swinger community. Many queer people are very monogamous. These are all separate spectrums, and finding out how these spectrums might be interrelated or separated for you is very important work to do for yourself, so you understand yourself and you can convey that to other people. It can be difficult to come out as bi within a monogamous relationship because many people will assume that you want to open up the relationship. Many bi men I coach struggle with coming out to their wives because they know their wives won't want to be non-monogamous, and they don't want to be non-monogamous, but they're afraid that that will be the assumption. So even though being bi doesn't mean you're non-monogamous, it is something that may come up in your life because of that biphobic assumption. And so it is something that's important to be able to talk about. So wherever you are in the sexuality spectrum, I'd encourage you to also get to know where you are on the relationship spectrum. Everyone has a natural orientation on that spectrum, and then everyone decides with a partner or partners how to put that into practice and what type of relationship will work best for them. The more you know about how you're naturally inclined in terms of relationship styles, the better you can work with your partner to develop the relationship that works for you. And by the way, monogamy is a spectrum also. Sometimes, like even in this video, we boil it down to monogamous and not monogamous, but there is a vast spectrum in between. There are lots of ways to explore intimacy and explore connections with other people and stay within the bounds of monogamy, whatever that means for you. I wish we had an orientation for relationship styles that, like bi, is in the middle of the spectrum, but for relationship styles would be somewhere in between monogamous and non-monogamous. And is there a word for that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. What should we call that? I wish we had that because it's a spectrum and we need to look at it that way. But back to the short answer, can you be bi and in a monogamous relationship? Yes, absolutely. That is the most common type of relationship for bi people at the moment. I wrote about many of these types of relationships in my book, Bisexual Married Men. You can check out the link below. Most of the couples I interviewed for my book are monogamous. So let me know in the comments, what's your marriage like? How do you navigate this? Do people assume that you're non-monogamous if you come out as bi? What's that like? Please share in the comments. I'm Rob from Two Bi Guys by One Bi Guy, and thank you for listening.